Welcome to The Bigger Picture with me, Nick, and my co-host, Syd. How are you, Syd?
Hey, man. How are you?
I'm good. How do you like my background?
Actually, I love it. Yeah, it's different. It's nice. It's like, yeah, we are predators. Just be aware of us.
Yeah, I like it. It used to be my alter ego online, I just told Matty. And we got a guest, and
Oh,
here he
yeah.
is. Welcome to the
Hello.
show.
Well,
Hey,
hello,
Matt.
friends. Syd, how are you?
Hello. I'm
It's
good.
been a while since Syd and I connected. We haven't connected in a while.
In a while. Yeah, it's been a while.
Uh,
But
I-
hopefully, we will have a lot of things in the future. Hopefully,
yes,
we'll connect more.
Right on.
So we have a very haphazard show. We're gonna jump all over the place. And we'd love to hear your opinions on all these things, of course, Matty. That's why you're here.
Okay, let's go.
But the biggest thing, of course, of the past, what is it, week or so, has been the election debate between Trump and Biden. And you got like the different version of Elon Musk where JFK is also included. And I think Syd has some stuff on JFK. But before we go there...
JFK, but we'll come to that. Not JFK, RFK.
RFK.
Yeah. RFK, of course. But let's go to Trump and Biden.
Folks, how are you? Making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID. Excuse me, with dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare, we're trying to provide housing for Black Americans. The impact on the choice, the idea that they're gonna, I've been proposing that everybody, the millionaires pay 1%. So no one after, I've not raised the cost of Social Security for anybody. I got my handicap, which when I was vice president, down to a 6. And wants to get away with, get rid of the ability of Medicare for us to be able to negotiate drug prices with the big pharma companies. What I'm going to do is fix the tax system. For example, we have 1,000 trillionaires in America. Billionaires in America. No one was hurt. No one Israeli was accidentally killed, and it just stopped. And I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more border patrol and more asylum officers.
Okay.
Wow.
Item offers.
I had to put my glasses on so I could watch all of that in high def. I'm like, am I really watching this? This is what wow, okay. I really am.
So that, basically Biden ran a campaign for Trump.
I think so.
Well, what was your takeaway of the election debates, Matty?
I think for the overall, I think we all pretty much saw what a lot of folks have known for a long time. The emperor has no clothes, if you want to say it that way. I mean, a lot of folks have been saying this for a long time. A lot of people were deemed conspiracy theorists or, that's just fake news. Oh, you said that last year, 2023. A lot of folks were saying this, and now everybody in the entire world has now seen what a lot of folks have known for a long time. So, and if he really wants to do the country a solid and he really believes in democracy, then maybe, look, LeBron James ain't going to play forever either, is he? You got to retire. You got to get off the court. Yeah. LeBron's looking at retire. Jordan retired, right? You don't want to see Jordan, getting swatted at his age, putting up jump shots, getting smoked. It's just sad. And it's the same thing with Biden. Look, you were a great politician probably in your time, whatever. But you know what? It's
time.
It's time.
It's time. I think the hashtag I saw somebody using, I thought this was really clever, is it's Jover. It's over for Joe. It's Jover.
Actually, it was very popular for a few days. Jover?
Yeah, Jover.
A lot of people were using that hashtag.
And you also got Joe Biden, right?
Joe Biden token.
Jeez.
That
No, but
sucks.
I
Like
wonder
Joe.
if he even can step down, right? Because he might not be able to make that decision anymore.
Okay, so they have only 6 weeks, maybe less than 6 weeks now, because I think 5 weeks now, because debate was last week. So in 6 weeks, they have to pick another candidate, otherwise his name will go on the ballot. So they only have like 5 weeks left, and he have no plan to
So
resign right now. So
I got another one because it's kind of, some people might still have sort of doubts that, there's something wrong. So this is a nice clip about how Biden was and how he now is. So let's see the difference between the two.
All right.
Sound on? Yeah. Here we go.
I continue to think we have to make fundamental changes in civil rights. And those civil rights, by the way, include not just only African Americans, but the LGBT community.
He wants to get rid of the ability of Medicare
I did not oppose busing in America. What I opposed is busing ordered by the Department of Education. That's what I oppose.
Making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID. With dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if you will determine the outcome of this election, vote.
Okay. I'll stop. It's elderly abuse, right?
Yeah, that's totally sad. I mean, this
is sad, but in 2019, I was thinking he is too old to run at that time. And now we are comparing current version with that footage and that person is looking sharp. I'm just surprised how bad the situation is right now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
I'll link them down below in the YouTube video so that people can check it out for themselves.
The response, I guess, to push back from the Biden administration, the campaign, was that he wasn't feeling so well. He had an off night. He was sick. He had a cold. So if he was sick and had a cold, then why do you trot him out after the debate late at night to a restaurant, shaking hands with people with no mask?
Yeah.
I got a nice clip. That's a nice segue.
Like, what the heck is going on, people? Like, you just do it, Nick. Do it.
But this debate was their Democratic idea, like Democratic Party idea.
Yeah.
Because they had an easy chance to skip the debates, and they said like, we don't want a debate because they didn't even debate in the primaries, and then they set the rule which they thought will benefit Biden, but actually I knew that they're gonna backfire. For example, shutting off the mics. In 2019, the reason Biden won the debate because Trump was keep interrupting, and everybody thought that Trump is being an asshole to the elderly man. This time they turned off the mic, so he didn't interrupt, and people got to see what Joe Biden is, and Trump came out as a nice guy. Trump didn't have to do anything. Like, he was just standing and saying normal stuff. Nobody's talking about Trump, and everybody's just criticizing Biden because they give a chance. This was their own digging. They dig their own grave this time.
Biden even admitted that he agreed to the terms. Biden admitted to the no fact checking. These were all terms that he agreed to. He even went so far as to say that in the interview with Stephanopoulos there with ABC recently. So.
Yeah, and I think he also.
Oh, Nick is gone.
Oh, he froze.
Yeah.
Well, anyway.
Oh, he's back. Oh. No, you were froze.
Oh, you froze for a second.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, let's play this clip. It's really fun.
Oh yeah.
Democratic Party is inclusive for everyone. I think that's the wrong one.
Yeah,
because I don't know what's going on. But the original clip is like Biden passed by her. I don't think that was a big problem because Biden is an old man. I don't think he can see anything rather than a person of color. So it
Yeah,
was more of his age than the racism thing where people are taking.
It doesn't bode well for him. It's not a good look, and
Yeah.
the way it's coming across on social media, and the folks are having a field day with it. I mean, it just the body language, and so much can be said from body language that you can just take away from that. And anybody who looks at that can just see. You look at the video, you see the shock and the disappointment in her face, and kind of like, again, she just gets passed over. Like, look at that, high and then up. Yep, there it is, and great. I don't exist. Thank you for acknowledging me, Mr. President. Oh, look, I got to get out of the way now. Oh, I don't get a sniff. Come on, Joe. Sniff me. Sniff me, Joe. Are you going to sniff me? No, I'm not going to sniff you. I'm going to sniff this lady instead. See, look at this. There's another video. I think I might have shared it. Where he's shaking hands with an African American gentleman, and it's kind of creepy. It's like, what are you doing, Joe? Like, he's like fondling the guy's arm. Like, it's just, I don't know, man.
You also have those clips where he's sort of
what I see in this clip is like this girl, the black girl, didn't pay attention to him as much, and then the other girl hijacked Biden, and Biden is too old that he didn't realize he skipped anything. Wherever he got the attention, he just moved. This is what I get it. I don't think that's more like a racism kind of a thing, which
I would agree with you. I think you're right. Yeah. But it just doesn't look good, though. I mean,
it doesn't look good. Yeah.
Right. Geez, Joe.
Yeah, it's not very difficult to make him look bad. So for the Trump Biden supporters, we're sorry, we're not partisan.
No. I really wish that there was a strong, representative for the Democratic Party. I really kind of wish that there was somebody in the Democratic field that actually had a chance, that had some really great ideas and some unique policies that could lead the nation forward. But unfortunately, who they got?
So an honest question for both of you. Why do you think that they stuck with Biden all this time?
Well, so it started with the Bernie thing, right? Back in 2020, when Bernie was going to win, he won first 2 or 3 states, and Democratic Party cannot allow Bernie Sanders to win. So what Obama did, he called all other candidates to step down, stand behind Biden. So all the support went to Biden. And he became the nominee. At that time, he was their main man, and he is like an insider for, I don't know for how many years. So he became the president in 2020, which was fine. But now they're stuck with him. No one else is there. Secondly, the problem is they already got so much donation. And the rule is your donation cannot transfer it to any other candidate other than your vice president. So
but can it go to the party though, Syd?
This is the law I read.
Okay.
They have to do so many steps to do that. So the problem with the current Democratic Party rule is like, if you have a president and if he stepped down, the only person can inherit that money is their vice president, and nobody wants Kamala Harris to be the president. She is
what can be unburdened by what has been, Syd. I mean, what can be unburdened by what has been?
So what about Michelle Obama?
Oh boy, I was one of the early voices saying this. Lots of other folks were back in 2023, September, October. It wouldn't surprise me. You look at the data and the numbers and the polling would seem to indicate that that's really the only chance that the Democrats have to win. When you look at the polling of every other potential candidate the Democrats could put up against Trump, everybody fails miserably. The only one to win decisively in all the polling so far is Michelle Obama. Now, does that happen? Is it a oh my gosh, to save democracy, I will put everything aside and step in as the savior? And that could happen in Chicago at the convention. After all, Chicago is the home of the Obamas, where Barack got his start. So, I mean, it wouldn't be surprising. And again, every time you see, I think anytime you see massive pushback, whether it's from Biden saying, I'm not going to get out of the race, I'm not going to get out. Anytime there's that much push, to me, it seems like you're saying that because you're going to do the opposite. Nixon said the same thing prior to his leaving office in Watergate. He said, I'm not going to leave. I'm going to blah, blah, blah. And guess what ended up happening to Nixon? Right, we all know. So.
And Michelle also said, "I'm not gonna run." Right? So
no, but
probably that
Michelle cannot win because they will come out for her because they're already spreading the rumors that Michelle is a man, Big Mike. So they will hit her hard about that.
That's I don't know. I mean, that's like a little. I think to me, I think that's crossing the line a little bit. I gotta be like, there's look. I'm all about being, open-minded, and I understand conspiracy theories or whatever, but that seems to be a little too much. I don't know.
It's a very good smear thing. I don't believe that. That's really stupid conspiracy. I don't know why anybody come up with that, but it is like they will hit her hard. Also, she doesn't have any experience. She's like not a political person. She was a wife of a president. She's not like Hillary Clinton, who was in office for like.
Well, but you know what's right. But Trump didn't have any experience either, and look what happened to him. He got into office. So again, I think that he has business experience, sure, but he has no political experience.
No, but Trump was a famous guy. It's a popularity contest.
But I think
that's the point, though, Sid. That's the point.
I think Michelle was on Obama's side before he became president, right? And,
yeah.
And Obama was very political active all his life. And I think she was right there at his side. So I think she's very.
I think they should pick one of the governors, like from governor of Chicago, that Gretchen lady.
Oh, Gretchen Whitmer. She's quite famous. She's making a run. She's trying to get her name out there. But again, here's the problem. A lot of these people like Whitmer, like Buttigieg, etc., they just don't have the name recognition outside of their small geographical area. Yeah, they might be a governor of a swing state where the votes actually, they could come into play. But on the broader national scale, these names mean nothing right now. Maybe Buttigieg, maybe Andrew Yang. But again, I like Andrew Yang. I was a Yang Gang guy back in 2020. He was the first shirt I ever bought of a political party or affiliation. I'm like, okay, I could get behind Andrew Yang. Yang
was my second favorite. I was a big Bernie bro back in the day, but I really like Bernie. So second, I
did buy Yang's book, The War on Poor People, I think it was, or The War on People, something like that. It was Yeah. But I do not trust his UBI push.
I actually like the UBI thing. That's why I like him. I want free money. Whoever gives me free money, I am.
You're in crypto.
Give me the free money. Bring it on, man. Bring the free money.
Everyone, I'm happy. I'm voting for you.
Okay. Now we go to your conspiracy because I'm really curious about this.
Yeah. So it's a Vanity Fair report that Robert F. Kennedy took a photo while eating a dog, and that's a dog carcass, because a lot of experts checked the carcass, like carcass experts, and they said this is not a goat, this is a dog. And this photo was taken somewhere in Asia, and he of course he denied it, but this photo is from 2009 or 2008. This is the exact same time when he got the brain worm. So you get brain worm from eating stuff like that, rodents and all those things. So can
you tell us a little bit about the brain worm story?
Yeah,
because I heard it before, but I didn't really go into
so Robert Kennedy have the brain worm. It was diagnosed in that time, in 2008, 2009. And then this photo came out, and I think because of that brain worm, his voice is fucked up.
That's what he says.
That's what he says. And the brain worm thing is like it's not just he's saying it, it's like medically proven, because he have the reports and he have a treatment going on for that. But this is the same time that he took the picture when he got the brain worm. And then the second allegation in this article was like he sexually assaulted some woman who was working for him, like assistant or babysitter or something. And then he went to Breaking Point's Sagar and Jyoti show and Crystal Ball show. Anyway, he went to that show, and Sagar and Jyoti asked him, like, what about these allegations? So his answer was, look, man, I have a lot of skeletons in my cupboard, and I'm not going to discuss about them. This was his answer. So, which means he have a lot of things in his cupboard.
When your last name's Kennedy, you got some dirt.
No, also he was like very famous friend of Epstein. So there are a lot of photos out there, and then he went to the island too. So that's that part. And I can see it in his discussion, because in general, he's an anti-war candidate. Like when you talk about Ukraine and Russia, he's like, yeah, I don't like war and everything. But the moment you talk about Middle Eastern war, Israel versus Palestine, his tone change. And which remind me of, like, he's being controlled because he went to the Jeffrey Epstein Island, he did something, now Mossad got his stuff, because this is a common knowledge that Jeffrey Epstein was Mossad's operation. So they got something of him, so he don't even say a one word criticizing what is happening. I'm not saying take a side, be neutral, but like be neutral. Don't be a stupid. So the way he speak about one war and the other war, which shows that he's being controlled. And even if he's not being controlled, I can't like a dog eater. You are out. If you eat dogs, you're out.
Oh yeah, if that's a dog, that would be terrible, of course.
Yeah.
I'm not yet convinced it is a dog, but I'll take it as a working hypothesis.
No, so it's a carcass expert. Like, there are scientists who are carcass scientists who look at the carcass and tell because of the archaeology thing. So one of those guys, like multiple scientists, I guess, verified it's not a goat carcass because of the limbs it has.
Mm-hmm.
The limbs are like dog's limbs.
Okay, well,
But he is obviously denying it. He is saying it's a goat, but who will I trust, him or an expert? Expert.
Yeah, politics is quite hopeless anyway.
Technically, there is nothing illegal about eating a dog, but it's immoral, basically.
Yeah. Well, he's still my favorite candidate.
Well, no, personally, if I have to pick between a dog eater and a convicted felon, I'm going for a convicted felon. Because
you got a dog eater, you got a convicted felon, and a senile old man. Take your pick. What do you want?
Zombie, basically. He's a dead man. I think they're keeping him alive.
You got the Walking Dead. That's his new campaign slogan, Walking Dead. I love it, Syd.
Democracy, man. This democracy is destroying us. This is what we have for? Like, oh my God. How low we have come.
Oh. You want to see one more Biden clip, because I got
let's keep the party wagon rolling.
Sorry.
All right.
More people die from extreme heat than floods, hurricanes, and tornadoes combined. Say that again. Combined. More people die from heat than those three other major.
Him reading the teleprompter, it's bad.
I also heard a story that at one of his fundraisers, he just went on stage, read the teleprompter, and then went away. Like, that's not like, what you usually do at a fundraising organization, right? You go around the room shaking hands, and you don't go on stage and read from a teleprompter and then walk off stage.
Yeah, but I think it's the problem of the teleprompter, because somebody told teleprompter guy to say that again, and he have to write it, and instead of writing it, he writes say that again. Biden, because he's speaking, he's just reading what's there, so he read that, because when you're reading and speaking something, you don't think about it.
It's very reminiscent of Ron Burgundy in Anchorman. Did you just Ron Burgundy Anchorman this? Like, what the heck is going on, dude?
No, it's just so hilarious. What used to be jokes in a movie, now that's a reality. How fucked we are right now. Just crazy.
Okay, well, but it's the bigger picture, and now we have enough Biden jokes for one day. So, Matty, how do you look at sort of the UAP issue, UFOs, all that kind of stuff? What is your
UFOs?
take?
Well, obviously, just on the heels here of the anniversary of Roswell, just recently the other day, obviously there's got to be something more to it than there are no aliens, and there's more out there than that. Obviously, technology's been reverse engineered. You can see ever since 1947, since Roswell and the invention of the transistor, something is there. Something is afoot. Now, if you want to label that angels and demons as extraterrestrials or aliens, that's something that can be open for debate. I'm in an open-handed position with that. I definitely think there is something out there. Alien, extraterrestrial, otherworldly, other dimensional, absolutely. but we don't know enough because we haven't been given all the facts. And so we're kind of left again. I think it's like a bunch of blind people standing in a room grabbing an elephant, and they're all grabbing the elephant, but they're all describing it in different ways. Like, well, it feels like it's this. Then the people on the back end are like, well, no, it feels like this, but really,
well, the people at the back end, they say it's bollocks, right?
Exactly right.
Yeah.
But you're all grabbing the same thing, but you don't realize what part of the animal that you're grabbing. So that's kind of my easy answer if I was to give you one.
Yeah. So one thing is clear: there is something. A lot of people don't know what it is, but a lot of people do know what.
And you guys are in good company, because I have this clip from Eric Weinstein.
I mean, in other words, whatever this is, there is a thing. It's not necessarily little green men. It could be, for example, that they mock up a floating spaceship in a hangar, and then they drag people past it and say, whatever you do, do not look to your left or right or you'll be shot. And then, of course, people look, and then, like, mission accomplished. Now people will say, oh my God, you have no idea what the US has incredible technology. And then maybe the idea is you've got a cover story. Maybe you've got your adversary investing in things that don't make any sense. I don't know. But there's nothing here. This is not about Mylar balloons and seagulls anymore.
He goes on in that interview. I'll also link it down below. He goes much further, right? It's not just that he says it's a mock-up. But his point is, like, there's something there, right? You cannot deny it. There's like very sober people out there. You have congressional hearings around it. You got congressmen asking questions about it. You got people within Central Intelligence high up who are saying there's something here in the DoD.
But I don't buy this argument, what he was saying, that it is probably the US government which made a model, because this technology we know the first report from US government is in 1947, Roswell, Mexico. At that time, they definitely didn't have anything. They were busy in World War. And this report is going on since then. And then if you go in the history, you will find UFO sighting everywhere. I'm working on a piece which is from 1561. There was a UFO battle in Basels. So I'm drawing that piece from there. It's like a historical document. They didn't have photos or anything at that time. So the point is, like, this phenomenon is going on for a while. I don't know what it is. Probably have an idea, but like we will wait and see what official report comes out.
But he has an interesting sort of follow-up to that
let's
thinking. And that's this one, which I also want to play.
Where the goal is not to give or hide truth.
The goal
but to fire hose with information so much that the truth can no longer be discerned.
It's a haystack of bullshit to make sure that any needle is very difficult to find. It is.
Yes. Bullshit haystacking. I love it. Yeah.
Okay. So they haystack the crap out of this thing. I have no question that there was something that was used to develop U.S. aircraft like the B-2 bomber and the SR-71 Blackbird. So if you see something crazy in the sky, better that you think it's a UFO from outer space than some advanced thing from Lockheed. I have no question that we use this to deal with things like the Chinese balloon shoot down, where we shot down several things in a week and we couldn't recover debris from any of them. I mean, come on, guys.
Yeah, come on. So that's an interesting idea, right? Sort of haystacking bullshit in order to make people, lose track of the truth. It's basically disinformation warfare that he's talking about. Putting entertainment, also entertainment around this is also sort of a haystacking and
yes, there is haystacking, but like the idea that we didn't recover anything is not true. We definitely did recover a lot of things from the Chinese balloon. I know they recovered something in Canada as well, because there was one in Lake Michigan. So they recovered the balloon debris. Secondly, the idea of crashing UFO is not that they are crashing by accident. There is an idea that aliens are crashing it on purpose to give us technology, to give us a leap towards the future. Because
but Syd, why would they crash? Why wouldn't they just land it and leave it in hey, instead of crashing in, just hey, here's the keys, just in one piece?
To be subtle, because if they enter, like they landed on White House and they enter, that will be a very movie way of doing that. But what I see, that these are the creator of races, like human creator of the actual human race, and they just want to do experiments and they introduce new challenges.
Mm.
And the best way to challenge without revealing yourself, like in Star Wars they have like a prime directive not to interact, but then you can help them secretly. And the problem, what I noticed for humanity until 1947, we were exactly the same, which we were 5,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Like we just built some steam engine and all these like minor things, and it took us 5,000 years. And suddenly after 1947, we have all the crazy technology. Like we are going to space, we have like computer in our hands, like iPhone is more powerful than the supercomputer in 1940s. So I think that's what they want to do. They want us to leap towards future because our progress was very slow. And I think if I'm the creator of races or I'm monitoring what's happening, I don't want to wait another 5,000 years to come to this level. So they said, okay, let's introduce something new and let's see what humans do with that. And I think that's a better way to test humanity if they are doing a test.
It's like sprinkling with toys, right? It's what
Yeah.
anthropologists do when they go to like an indigenous tribe. They try to not interfere, just to observe and to be as invisible in the whole thing as possible.
Yeah. And then David Grush said that these are like the gifts from our brethren from outer space. So it's not like my idea. It's like a lot of UFO guys who are deep into that. They propose the idea that these are the cosmic gifts to help us grow.
And but there is actually, because we had David Grush, of course. He's the most famous high-level officer who went on the record on oath. Which, if he breaks the oath, if he's lying, he would go to jail for 5 years. So it's not like there's no penalty for spreading lies. So he went on the record and he said, like, he told many things, right? That people were killed because of this. That the US have many different UFOs in its possession. That they are reverse engineering. That there's non-human intelligence, plural. And that basically there's a big cover up for over, what is it, 70 or 80 years now, something like 80 years now. And but I just came across, and I sent it to Syd, I think yesterday, an interview from Ross Coulthard for his new show Reality Check, which started like 3 months ago. And it was like his initial first episode. And I skipped it because I missed the whole series, and I sort of later found it. But then I thought, let's watch the first episode that he did. And that was a very interesting episode with, what's the guy's name? Daniel Sheehan. And he's a Harvard University psychiatrist. And I think he worked on a very high level. He's some kind of also legal expert. And anyway, he went on the show and he went on the record, and he's not somebody who's like having second-hand information, but he actually had first-hand information. And he went on the show with Ross Coulthard to basically call out Arrow's report and say it's bullshit, and Kirkpatrick is lying, and he would take Kirkpatrick to court if it's necessary, right? He would be willing to stand witness, and but he said a lot of things, and it's definitely an interview you should watch completely. But this is one of the highlights.
Okay.
Were simply abstract things about, you hear the statistical probabilities, there's this many planets and this many star systems, and here's Drake's equation. And it was just this really strange, soft kind of thing. But it did conclude, based upon their probability projections, that there were at least from 2 to 6 other highly intelligent, highly technologically developed, but distinctly non-human species in our galaxy. And they said that.
So he worked for Carter, President Carter.
Yeah.
And he had access, he was granted access to a special facility which was run sort of by Lockheed Martin and those kind of companies. And he was one of the very few people who actually gained access and had the opportunity to look at pictures and all that kind of stuff, which he all relates in that interview. And he actually took some notes from it, which were almost taken from him. And he wanted to bring that back to Carter, but it was sort of intercepted by, it's unclear how it was intercepted, but he worked for the Jesuits, and he gave it to his Jesuit father or whatever it is, and never reached Carter. But this is sort of what he drew after he saw the flying saucer on the picture. And these are symbols that he couldn't recognize, and he put it on a yellow notepad. And these were the symbols that were on the flying saucer that he saw in that facility. And his whole story is also corroborated, so it's not just like some crazy story that he made up or something.
Are you familiar with the Rendlesham Forest incident that happened in England back in the early 1980s?
Yes.
Okay, those markings right there look very similar to what the U.S. military officers said that they saw at Rendlesham. These symbols, again, I'd love to see a side-by-side comparison, but they said they saw unexplained symbols and markings on a UAP or a vehicle of some kind back then. So those look very familiar, but not surprising.
Yeah, I think I actually have them. I'm gonna try and find them because I had exactly the same idea what you said. And this guy, this Sheehan, he was also one of the leading people in the Pentagon papers and Watergate and also the Contra-Iran issue. So he was one of their top legal experts who worked on those cases and brought them to light. So he's not just somebody crazy or something. So,
or maybe this is their art. Maybe it's not meaningful. It's just like they are very bad artists, and they thought it looks good.
Bad stick figures, man. I mean, come on, what do we got? It's some bad stick figures over here.
So, what do you make about the fact that there's like perhaps multiple human intelligences and?
Okay, so first of all, I think definitely there are multiple intelligences out there. Who they are, we don't know. Because the universe is so big, if we have evolved in one planet, and that there is a possibility that so many other planets have the same kind of evolution, maybe higher than us. And then I don't know, there is no scientific reasoning for not to have aliens out there. What I don't agree with them that universe is teeming with life. I think life is very rare. There are like very few civilization out there, 10, 15 maybe. That's what I think. It's not like there is a galactic federation and then there are like so many planets. I don't believe that idea because I don't see any evidence of that. We didn't receive a single proof of any life out there, which means it's not teeming with them, other than UFOs, which means there are some, but they are cloaking themselves.
This should be the ones from Rendlesham.
Yeah.
Well, look at the down below. There's another symbol that reminds me of a conspiracy theory I see down there with a triangle.
This
below
one?
that. No, go down a little bit lower.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Look at that right there. That I've seen that symbol in some other conspiracy theories revolving around food.
Yeah. With this one, right?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. I couldn't see it. That wasn't the one. It looked like it, but it wasn't.
Okay.
But again, very similar though. Again, I got my glasses on. I'm trying to get up in the screen so I can see all this stuff like in high def.
Yeah, but it's interesting stuff, and
it
is.
And this interview was really sort of mind blowing.
Oh, speaking of symbols, quantum physicists were conducting an experiment. They were using some high tech photography. I sent you a link. Open that one. Anyway, so they were they were using some new technology to take the photographs of quantum world, and they discovered yin and yang symbol embedded in
Wow.
our reality. And it's not like a dumb conspiracy, it's like a very scientific paper out there. Look at this here.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
You see that? Oh, wow.
And this is like a core of our reality.
That's crazy, man. I didn't see that one.
This blew my mind because like we know this symbol for a very long time. They're like chaos and order.
Mhm. Yeah, look at that.
And this is our reality. Whoa.
Yeah,
Hey, look, there's all electric cars on sale too. I should want to know. Yeah, let click on that. I want to get more about that car.
Yeah, well, it's
All right. Let me just put this to you. When we talk about extraterrestrial life and all that stuff, yes, I believe that there is stuff out there. But I think the bigger thing, when I really look at space and beyond and what's out there, is again just really when it comes down to science. And this is a fact that is not debatable. It's a scientific proven fact that there is a thing called the Van Allen radiation belts.
Yeah.
So how can we get through the Van Allen radiation belts? Obviously, apparently we did when we went to the moon, but then NASA came out, with another video saying, well, if we're going to go to Mars, one of the biggest hurdles is getting through the Van Allen radiation belts. So It's kind of like, wait a second, you already did that 35 years ago, and now you're saying you can't. Did we lose the technology, or did we just not go through
this?
But hold on, Syd. I think the bigger thing, what I wanted to get to with the Van Allen radiation belts is on a bigger, like, esoteric level, are we like in some sort of prison planet where we're not allowed to get out past the Van Allen radiation belts, and maybe those other entities, beings have the ability and the technology and the vehicles and the spacecraft to get through that Van Allen radiation belt? And so maybe there's a reason why the great designer, the great God of the universe, or whoever it was, designed it to be that way, that we could not get past them for a reason.
Okay, so few things for the Van Allen band explanation why like NASA said that, because according to them they lost the technology, which is really a stupid thing to say. You do not lose the technology, you never crossed it. I think so. And they're also making a movie of fake moon landing too.
Oh yeah,
it's coming out. Anyway, other than that, I think to answer your actual question, we have to go back in time and look at the religious scriptures. What happened? So there's like a Arabic oral tradition. No, actually, it's a written one about the time of Solomon, that he was battling with a lot of entities from other worlds. And then he put out something which closed, like, it's not clearly explained, but it's like he used some technology given to him by God to close the portal for them to enter the earth. So I don't think it's a prison for us, but I think it's a protective shield for aliens to come and visit. This is the best explanation I can see in the scripture.
You mean to keep negative forces out?
Not all the negative, but like, the attacking one, which was, there are two characters. One is so in the time of Solomon, and then there is another character called Zulkarnain, who was also closing the portals for aliens to come in. So there is like some little bit information out there here and there which you can see, and then you see that there is some kind of protective shield they created, those people, with the help of God, because they were like the people of God, like Solomon and all those things.
Well, in many of those ancient pictures you also see sort of like a dome across the earth.
So the concept of dome, which like flat earther think that's like a glass dome and earth is flat. The concept of dome, I think, is the Van Allen radiation belt, which is protecting Earth from these alien invasions somehow.
Well, you see in some of those pictures, you see somebody grabbing through the shield, right, with his hand.
Yeah.
And
that's why I think these UFOs are unmanned, because they cannot enter, like they cannot send the biological ones, so they send the robots, like the drones.
But that's also, I actually shared some of that stuff in Telegram recently. I think it was Avi Loeb who pointed out that alien intelligence might actually mimic or be the same as AI intelligence, or be one and the same thing.
Yeah.
And that we're actually developing alien intelligence on Earth in the form of AI, something along those lines. I think I can pull that one up. But the picture that you're seeing right here is actually outside of the Vatican, and that's the same picture that was on Arrow's Twitter a while ago, and I think it was also in some of their reports. And what you're seeing there is actually alien technology that they incorporated in their logo also of Arrow and in some of their reports. But
it's like a sphere UFO, right? It's a very famous UFO.
Yeah,
the sphere one.
Yeah, the one that's the most common that they're often talking about.
Well, I just realized when we were talking about like these UFO crashes were the gift, maybe they are not the gifts. Maybe they are the curse. They will not enter our our Earth because of the radiation belt. So they want us to create some technology which we open that gate from here so they can enter. There is a possibility of that. Maybe they want to invade us, and because of that protective shield they cannot, so they sent us this drone, so we create a technology which will destroy this shield and then they can enter, which is in eschatology of Abrahamic religion, that in the end of times there will be Gog and Magog. They are like creatures from
Gog and Magog are the two deities that are worshipped by the City of London, the actual official city of London.
Yeah, but the Gog and Magog, it's not just two people, two deities. It's like a whole nation.
Yeah.
They are like the people. They are like a lot of people out there. They're like the two races basically. So they gonna come in the end, after the arrival of Jesus and Antichrist. So there is a possibility that somehow we destroy the belt and then they will enter.
So this is the article from Avi Loeb. The other one was about warp drives. The possibility of warp drives. But this is like viewing AI as alien intelligence, which is, by the way, also called AI, which is very interesting.
Coincidence how that works.
Yeah. So, and of course, this is all speculation. You also had that report a while ago where I'm not sure if it was Harvard, but they brought out.
Yeah, it was Harvard. It was Harvard.
Yeah, it was Harvard, right? About the 4 possibilities of cryptoterrestrials, that they might be visitors from the future or outer space or underneath the ocean, right? That the sort of the different possibilities here are endless. They might even be from the past, right? But they are sort of trying to pose these different hypotheses to the public in order to sort of open our minds and think outside of the box about what is happening here or what could be happening here. Because there is a phenomenon, right? I mean, that is pretty clear. I mean, there's testimony from all over the world. But, organizations like MoveOn, but you also got like a couple of others in the US, but MoveOn is the biggest. It's getting thousands of reports a year. And even though, a lot of that is like misrecognition of aerial phenomena or highly advanced technology of the US Army, there is, of course, always that like a slight percentage is really unidentified. And that's also coming back to the story from Sheehan, the legal expert that I showed earlier. He actually, the things that he got access to, because he could make a request, was the 700 cases that were left out of Project Blue Book. So there was this big research done by the US Air Force, Operation Blue Book, in the 60s or 50s and 60s, I think, to sort of look at all these UFO cases and see if there was any truth to it. And they had like about 700 cases that they could absolutely not explain, but they left it out of Operation Blue Book, the end result, and that was classified, and he got access to those files because he asked for it, and there was this sort of opportunity because of Carter to give him access to it. So those were totally unexplainable, and you have cases like that all over the place. Like when you sort of dive into this rabbit hole, the cases there's really strange cases, right? You know, and they're fully reported, backed up by radar. You got the Nimitz, the TikTok is probably the most famous one with David Fraser, who also testified for Congress. But there's endless cases, like, you know.
Even President Reagan at one point back in the 80s was on a jet, and he even said, like, oh, he saw something out of a window. So when you have a former United States president who is well respected and held in high esteem, I think, you know, history looks at that and shows that he was, well respected.
Carter too.
Yeah.
And when you sort of go through it, they all had, like, Eisenhower, Truman. Right? There's this whole book about American presidents where they sort of go through the documentation. For example, even sort of the uncle of Trump,
Clinton was very much involved in that.
Tesla.
Clinton was very much involved in that. He wanted to disclose, but then he got some threats or something, and then he backed off. But when he became a president, he was very much involved in UFO, and his idea was to disclose everything.
Why is it that, like, a lot of people who, when they run for office, say, I'm going to disclose all this information, and then once they get in the office, guess what? They disclose nothing. Trump said the same thing. I'm going to disclose the JFK files, and he said, oh shit, I guess I'm not doing that.
Because military industrial complex is very powerful.
Real, right? Yeah,
it's real, and they are powerful. And Trump said that too. Like, the military industrial complex is the danger, and I think they threatened him not to do it. And Trump don't care personally about anything. He just a very egotistical person. He just want someone to praise him. That's it. And they say something. If something gonna hurt him, he will back off. That's why he didn't pardon Julian Assange. Oh, by the way, Congress, man, he is free. Julian Assange. It's after. We never talked about that, but anyway, he had a chance to pardon him. He didn't, because he thought that it will ruin his relationship with military industrial complex. And again, they are very powerful people. They threaten him, and they threaten every president, so they always back off. That's why we need someone who is not afraid of anything, and a president which doesn't have a bad pass.
But we also saw it in action, right? With the Chuck Schumer amendment last year, when they tried to get it passed in the defense bill, it got blocked, by senators, most two Republican senators who were located in districts of, Lockheed Martin and Northrop Grumman, and then they sort of said, we're not going to do that, not like that, not in that language, because there was also talk about sort of appropriating the material that they would have had back engineered, right? And they didn't want that in that amendment in those kind of words. But when you look at the amendment that's talking openly about non-human intelligence, about back engineering, all that kind of stuff, and they're gonna try it again, right? Chuck Schumer's and it's a bipartisan effort. Also, Republicans are gonna put that amendment back in front of Congress.
And I'll tell you, they are giving the excuse that maybe they are national secret and Russia and China will get it. But the thing is, Russia and China already have those UFOs. It's not just US who got who have the retrieval program. They were also doing the same thing. Actually, Russia is more advanced in many ways. Like, their missile technologies
and
also are better than US.
And also way more open about these things, right? Yeah. Russia is not making that much of a secret. I mean, of course, about their technology.
No, they are hiding it too. But the thing is, there is no pushback from the people. In the US, we have illusion of freedom. In Russia, there is nothing. So you cannot question. So they don't have to pretend. They just say this is a classic.
Then China is the worst, right? Because
China is the worst.
Okay, but this is I got an example of sort of controlled disclosure. This was recently, and scientists spot possible alien megastructures around nearby stars. This is about Dyson Spheres that they. So I think, did I open it? Yeah, I opened it. Okay, gonna play it.
Well, in the search for signs of intelligent life, there's a new study that may suggest we are not alone. A group of researchers have identified at least 7 stars that might be surrounded by advanced megastructures known as Dyson Spheres. Dyson Spheres, what? Emily Finn joins us now to tell us more about this. Emily, Dyson Spheres, possible megastructures, all of this is a lot to take in.
It certainly is. It might freak you out, it might pique your interest. I mean, it's certainly interesting. The thought is that potential superior intelligent life might be creating buildings or devices to harness energy around their home stars or planets, creating these so-called alien megastructures. This newly released study...
I'm not going to play it completely because I don't want to get
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so first of all, I don't think they're Dyson spheres, because when you are talking about Dyson sphere, you are talking about type 2 civilization. Type 2 civilization will leave their signature everywhere. We would have known. I think, and it's not the first time they've come up with the story of Dyson sphere. Whenever they find an anomaly in the space where the dimming of the sun, they always come up with that there is a Dyson sphere, but it actually a bigger planet or some other cloud. Usually that's how it works.
Hey, can you unpack for the idiot like me here in the room, or folks who might be watching, what the heck is a Dyson sphere? Because I think it's something that has to do with like my vacuum. I'm like, I've got a Dyson. I'm like, oh, like what?
So the same scientists come up with the idea of Dyson sphere. Anyway, so the Dyson. So first of all, there are levels of civilization there, and they are.
Oh, I know. I play Age of Empires. I know all about that.
Yeah, so it's based on energy. So we are type 0 right now, where we are trying to figure out, and we are going toward type 1. Where type 1 is like you can harness the energy of your planet. You can do anything with your planet. Type 2 civilization is like you can do it with your sun. You can harness the power of your sun. So in order to do that, you create a big structure like a Death Star, a circular structure, and you put it towards and you send it towards your sun, which revolves around the sun and gather the energy and then transmit it to your planet, and then you have the free energy. But that's like a very high-end, very high power civilization. That's what they do. They just get the energy directly from the sun. They can control anything.
That's called the Kardashev skill.
Yeah, Kardashev skills. And then the type 3 one is like they can do it with the galaxy. They can they can harness the power of their galaxy. And then we have the type 4. That's new, which they can harness the power of the entire universe. So we know for sure we don't have type 4 or type 3 civilization. Otherwise, we would have known for sure.
Yeah, but on the other hand, right, as you said in the beginning, if there are sort of aliens out there, they wouldn't want to interfere directly, right? They especially if they're so powerful that they don't.
Yeah, which means they are not type 4. Because if you're controlling the whole universe, then you don't give a fuck about any other thing. So I think they are at type 2 level.
We could be like a toy or like an ant farm on their
an ant farm, exactly, an ant farm.
And then at the end they sort of shake it, like, you know.
Yeah, but that's the story of Anunnaki too, right? That they are like gods. The whole pagan gods came from that alien thing.
But there's also evidence that there is actually evidence of alien life, right? That DNA itself is like a clear signature.
I don't know. Well, that's not evidence. That's like one of the argument.
Yeah, but I mean, if that's true, then there's evidence all over the place.
Yeah. But then for DNA, there are so many other explanations. So I don't think it will count as an evidence. It won't. It's not an evidence. It's just like a conjecture, basically.
Yeah, but okay, let's be real. This is all conjecture, right? This is,
that's what we do here.
Pure speculation.
The whole show is conjecture. The whole show is conjecture.
Yeah. We're not even really here.
No, this is all AI. This is AI right now.
Yeah.
So I also, want to shift gears a little bit because we have Matty here with us. There was a really funny part. I think it was from Joe Rogan or some other show, and you got this comedian who sort of gave a lot of truth, and I want to play it.
Oh yes, this is a good one.
I want to hear your.
I want to see that.
Yeah.
Oh, this is
This is so good. Yeah, this is so good.
They had 2 peace agreements called the Minsk Accords. Guess who violated them? The Ukraine. It wasn't that. And so, I've heard people say that. And of course, it was the expansion of NATO, right? The threat of putting NATO on the border of Russia, which everybody from Kissinger to Chomsky and everybody in between said, that's a mistake. Don't do that. Well, that's, of course, what they're doing. And so what's the point of NATO anymore? And then this whole idea, they're doing the domino theory again. Oh, well, if we allow him to do this to Ukraine, he's going to go to Poland next. And it's the same fucking shit they said all the time. It's the domino theory. And again, the world's terrorists are the United States. Look what we did to Iraq. Look what we did to Libya. Libya, the most successful country in all of Africa. The guy created the 8th wonder of the world with the way how he delivered water and turned deserts into farmland. And everybody had a house and everybody had education and healthcare. And we turned it into a failed state run by terrorists with open slave markets. Who did that? Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton did that. And they'll never have to pay a price for that. Barack Obama, the most he'll do is go, "Yep, that was a mistake."
Well, I'm not sure if I believe everything he says, but
no.
He does have a point there, right?
No. Exactly what he's saying is true. Everything he said, every single word about Libya is true. They destroyed it for one reason, because they were building their own currency.
Yeah.
They were building African.
Everybody knows that. Yeah.
Yeah. So there is no conspiracy. And this guy is like a very good journalist. He's a comedian, also a journalist. He have a Jimmy Dore show, which I usually watch. So I know he's authentic person. He's not just saying out of his mind. He researched about that. Secondly, about Libya, they destroyed it because they were building a currency. Now Mohammed bin Salman of Saudi Arabia is in trouble because he's joining the BRICS, and he canceled the deal with US dollar of petrodollar. He didn't renew it, basically. So I think this guy is in trouble now.
But the thing about that, Syd, though, I heard that, but I never saw any formal declaration. Like, there was never anything in writing from even back in the 70s that said there was this agreement. It was kind of more like a non-verbal kind of handshake agreement. And then all of a sudden, just recently, Saudi said, okay, we will take dollars, but we will take other things like the yuan, like the ruble, like whatever. But yes, they are pivoting. There's no doubt about that, Syd. But I just don't know if there was an official document that
there was.
Was there? Okay, I don't know. I didn't see it. So.
Yeah, there was something because at the time, back in the days at Kuwait war and everything, and Saddam was trying to invade all these Arab countries. US went in there. US signed a deal with Kuwait to protect them for 100 years, and they will get the 100-year contract with them. With Saudi, they had like a 50-year contract. So that 50-year contract ended on 8th of June.
So why didn't they do a 100-year contract?
Well, because there was like less threat for Saudi Arabia, right? Because Saudi Arabia is further than Kuwait to Iraq. So whatever the deal they made, I don't know. I was not involved in that, but yeah, the deal was there.
You weren't? They should have consulted you, Jig. The hell?
Yeah, but that's the deal. So there was a deal of 50 years with Saudi Arabia, and they were expecting that, yeah, they will renew it. MBS decided he don't want to do it, because China and Russia pushed him, and they showed him that they have more benefit if they join BRICS, and then that's where he's going. Anyway, suddenly when he canceled the deal, you start seeing propaganda against Saudi Arabia, which is not even a propaganda, which I was saying for a very long time. Right. Saudi Arabia was involved in 9/11, but nobody talked about that.
Yes. Oh my God. CBS News just came out this week. Said you saw that all of a sudden when the mainstream narrative news, the controlled propaganda machine, starts talking shit about Saudi Arabia. My gosh, Syd. Yes.
Exactly. The moment you fuck with US dollar, you get shit on. And so I think his life is in danger. And I will request US government and CIA, please do not overthrow MBS. It will have dire consequences on the world, because he's a very liberal and moderate guy. The next in line guy is very terroristy person.
No, but
he will be right wing.
Great adjective, terroristy. He's kind of a terroristy guy.
I wouldn't call him a terrorist, but he have like terrorist tendencies. So
he's kind of a terroristy guy.
Yeah. So this is what I'm saying. And technically, MBS is not a legitimate king. He is because
he's a usurper. He's a usurper.
Yeah,
I learned that on Game of Thrones.
Because the kingdom of Saudi Arabia works like it goes to the brother. So Salman is the actual king right now. His brother is next in line. But Salman, what he did, he put his son in charge, which is MBS, Mohammed bin Salman. He's the young guy. And he just changed the whole tradition of making a new king. So he's technically an illegitimate one. And then if US put a pressure and try to bring the other guy, who is going to be next bin Laden? I'm telling you, do not fuck with this guy. He's liberal. He have changed everything. Just stick with that.
Well, he's really focused on technology and
technology,
and
like
shifting
and
oil.
And I'm not trying to be an MBS supporter, but I, as far as I remember, I think he was one of the key forces behind the accords there with the peace agreement with Israel. Right.
Yeah,
so I mean, he was kind of like, hey, I mean, for Israel and Saudi Arabia to get together, he was one of the guys that said, yeah, cool. Let's chill. Let's hang out.
And between Saudi Arabia and Iran, right?
Right.
Yeah, Saudi Arabia and Iran.
Right,
because Saudi and Iran were like the real enemies, and now they're like best friends for some reason. I've never expected that to happen. Saudi and Iran to become good friends.
And he has a cool name, MBS.
And then he was like liberal. He gives so many freedom because there were no women rights. Women couldn't even drive in Saudi Arabia.
Right.
And then he came in charge, and then he gave them everybody freedom. They don't even have a law to cover your hair now. People do it anyway, but it's not by law. It's by choice now.
But at the same time, right? I mean, I'm not sure, but my sort of impression of the Middle East is, though you do have more liberal and less and extreme conservatives, there's also always sort of in the background quite a lot of violence.
It's always Saudi Arabia. Whatever their policy is, the Middle East changes. Middle East is controlled by Saudi Arabia. At least it was until 2010, and then suddenly after Yemen war, things started to shift, and then another power emerged, which is Iran. So now there is a balance of power. Now it's distributed. Some countries are controlled by Iran, some are Saudi Arabia. They had like 10-year war, which was Yemen war, and then they decided there is no point of war because nobody gonna win, so they become friends now.
And Iran just had elections, right? And they elected what they say is a very sort of
very liberal guy, very liberal guy too. Yeah.
Who also wants sort of the conservative police to sort of step down and have more openness and actually have negotiations about the nuclear program.
No, Iran is giving Saudi Arabia nuclear technology. They already have that. So they are giving it to Saudi Arabia. That's why they become friends. They said, okay, you're afraid of us because we have nuclear. We're going to give you the nuclear technology. So we have a balance of power. This is like crazy. It's like China, US is giving Russia the nuclear technology to balance the power. It's weird. But it's like showing that they're showing a good gesture that we are not your enemies. So we both can have nuclear technology. So no one will be afraid of each other.
I mean, the U.S. hasn't supplied Saudi Arabia with any nuclear technology in the last 30, 40 years?
This was an accord. Like US was not giving it to them, and they wanted it bad because they were afraid that Iran gonna attack them with nuclear power. Yeah. So that's the last president, the Raisi, who died in the helicopter crash. It was his idea. He started that process. That okay, let's do this thing. So they signed a contract in his time, and I think US was a little bit delayed killing him. He was murdered because of that. But yeah, so he started that process. He said, we are giving it to you. IRGC was also involved in that. Then they finally agree on that. And I think the new one which is coming, he is even more liberal. He wants to make friends with everyone. So he's like the counterpart of MBS. And I see more liberal changes in Iran too. So I think they are going in a different direction.
I got one more clip from the same comedian that I want to play.
Got to save the people. Whatever you guys, they don't give a fuck about the people in America. They got veterans and everybody else living under every goddamn bridge in this country. You think if they gave a shit about those people, don't you think they'd start helping the people right outside the front door?
Right.
Instead of, no, I got to go help people in Libya, and we got to help people. It's about helping people in Ukraine, and it's about helping people in Taiwan, and it's about no. This is all about an upward transfer of money. This is about balkanizing countries and turning it over to BlackRock and Vanguard. That's what this is about.
Well, I think he's absolutely right.
I don't think it's about BlackRock, and then I think there's like military industrial complex. But yeah, the point is correct. Yeah.
That's basically that's the public face of
Yeah.
the military industrial complex. But what he says is sort of like it's not about helping people. It's actually about sort of deeper
Wealth transfer.
Wealth transfer and the military industrial complex. But you can also sort of turn it around, right? So if the West operates like that abroad, and if and then you see how horrific it is. What if it turns inward, right? I mean, they have no regard for human life, right? So there's that we still have this balance of power between ourselves and our governments. But what if that changes? Right? What if that balance of power changes and they can do what they do abroad here, right? I mean, there's clearly they don't give a fuck about human life, right?
Yeah. Also, like the thing is, we don't know, but we also don't need military bases around the world. We are wasting a lot of money. They are useless. They are like setting ducks for the enemy, because back in the 90s, US was the sole power. Now there are multiple powers out there. There's like a Russian power, China, they are separate, but they become together. And then there's like a whole Iranian resistance, which is like very powerful. People are not even realizing how powerful that resistance is. So US bases, they have like a small basis, and and the enemy of US had their own countries around there. So these bases are just wasting money. Just pull back all your soldiers, bring them in US, make bases around US so nobody can attack us. But we are wasting a lot of money in different countries. Why we have 54,000 people in Japan? Why in Germany? It's like waste of money. Just bring them home, man.
Well, the idea was, of course, that the US was always afraid, that you got a Eurasian continent, right? If Germany, Russia connect, like if they become one, then the US can go into outer space, right? Because that would be a superpower to behold, right? With
But
the resources of.
That's the fear of the Cold War. We are in a different world. You cannot stop Russia from doing anything. It's just like you'll start a world war. So the best way is like be nice to your friends and just try to do trade. What China is doing right now.
But
you
I mean,
cannot win from military power.
What you see in this picture is actually sort of the Cold War result, right? And because it was to keep Germany apart from Russia and China, and prevent it from becoming one. That's why there's so many in Japan and why there's so many in Germany, to keep those two apart. And that's also why they have that focus on Ukraine in order to, and why they blew up Nord Stream, in order to keep those forces separate. But I do think that you're right? The ultimate aim for America is now to focus on space, because those are that's the ocean power of the future. Exactly. And on the other hand, to become a fortress and to draw back troops into America.
One thing I want to, if I could, just kind of shift gears here on a topic, but I think that we've seen this globally unfold in the last week, month, and it seems that there's a tide shifting globally to a more conservative movement. We see this in the governments in France. We see this in the government in the UK. We see this obviously here in the United States and around the world. There seems to be a momentum shift to a more conservative ideology when it comes to political parties.
Not in UK. UK Liberal Party won in UK, so
did they win? Okay, all right.
Yeah. So
but you saw the Nigel Farage party,
right? Yeah, the Nigel. That's what I was going with.
Yeah. Yeah, they won big time, but they're still smaller than the other ones. But
Liberal is like the big winner, Keir Starmer. Yeah. But the Liberal Party of UK sucks. They are bad. They're like Tony Blair guys. Nobody liked Tony Blair. So
they're like Tony Blair. They suck.
Yeah, but this is very true. The world is changing toward conservatism because liberals lost their mind. Like literally, they were canceling everybody. People were tired, so they were like, let's just go in that direction. And this usually happen when you swing pendulum towards one side, you will expect the other side anyway. And we will see that in US and Canada too. I think Republicans gonna win in US, conservatives gonna win in Canada in next election.
Yeah, so
What is the vibe like there in Canada, Syd, right now? Do you see more of a shift towards the conservative side, especially in Parliament?
No, but everybody hates Justin Trudeau. It's not like the
Why?
policies, but it's just like we hate Trudeau, so we want to get rid of him.
He sounds like such a nice guy.
No, he is insane because he took away our capability of speaking anything. Like, you cannot criticize it. And that's like he was implementing all the censorship.
Well, it's a good thing he's not on this live stream, or he would cancel you right now, Syd.
Yeah.
We'll do it for him.
But nobody. Okay, there are other parties which is, I don't like Conservative of Canada. I think they suck. I like Jagmeet Singh NDP party, which is not gonna win. They are like socialist type of people, but they're very chill. In BC we have their government, so our provincial government is of NDP, and they are really chill. They don't care about like anything, no restrictions at all. Even in the COVID time, we didn't even have a mask mandate for a long time until Trudeau pushed it on us.
Oh.
So the thing is, it's not like people are shifting towards conservatives. They're just shifting away from the Liberal Party. So we will see.
I think Jim Ricketts, in a recent interview with Danielle Kamboda, I think it is her name, he made a really interesting point. I think we also pointed it out, but you got the new dividing line is not between left and right and conservative and Democrat or progressive. It's more about globalism or globalists and nationalists, and you see a shift towards nationalism all over the world.
Yeah. And I think that's a great way to put it, Nick.
Yeah, but I don't. Yeah, I do. It's better than globalists. Globalists are insane, but nationalists don't. You also have like tons of examples of nationalists going crazy, right? I mean, Stalin was a nationalist. Hitler was a nationalist.
Mao
was a nationalist, right? It doesn't have to be a positive thing.
No.
Genghis Khan was nationalist, so so every bad guy was also a nationalist. So I don't. The point is, it's just an illusion that one is better than other. The truth is something else is controlling everything what we do, and we are stuck. We need like true grassroots movement, and for that we need to get rid of all the powerful people.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's too entrenched. I think
only Jesus Christ can help.
Well, there you go. All right, eight of the men on that one, brother. Eight of the men on that.
We got the signs, right? The portents. This was in Turkey this week. That's pretty cool.
So that wasn't a Elon SpaceX.
No, it's a meteor. So it's a meteor splitting into two, basically.
Wow.
By the way, we will be seeing a lot of celestial events in the future. Just wait. And you won't even know it until they happen. Yeah. Like we recently witnessed the Aurora Borealis all over the world.
So let us end with the last question for Matty.
All right.
Do you think there will be disclosure? And if yes, how will it happen? And if no, why not?
Wow, that's a good question, Nick. I think disclosure comes only when and by a way that it's controlled to generate fear, to move people to a certain preconceived outcome that they want. Not disclosure on the sense that like you and I and folks who are kind of truthers are out there really want. It will be a disclosure in a way that, again, I think I'm going to go back to some of the folks that I've listened to on other podcasts. Not Van Allen. I just drew a blank. The German scientist that we brought over in Paperclip.
Von Braun.
Von Braun, right. One of his assistants back in the 70s was talking about, like, on his deathbed, Von Braun laid out to her this whole big, long timeline of events, and disclosure was one of those things, but it was going to be under the guise of, this is actually fake alien invasion, and it's going to be used to control and manipulate, because we no longer have these global powers against one another. We need an outside force to kind of bring us together. Then that's controlling that opposition. So I think in maybe that aspect, we might get disclosure, not in the true sense that we like, oh my gosh. So I think it's going to be controlled, it's going to be manipulated, and it's going to be used for a specific purpose to move the population and the people to a preconceived outcome.
Yeah, that's also my notion, and I think, you know, when they talk about controlled disclosure,
yeah,
that is what they're talking about, to control the narrative to push us in that direction. What's your take, Syd?
Same. And then with the Project Blue Book, what you were talking about, like a fake alien invasion, that's like a part of Project Blue Book, that they're gonna do a fake alien invasion, but I think it's impossible to do that. You cannot fake an alien invasion. Like, you need a lot of power to do it.
Need a lot of aliens.
A lot of it's impossible to do it. So I think they will go in the direction of creating fake Jesus. That is much achievable. Because Project Blue Book has two things: either they're gonna do a fake alien invasion or fake second coming of Jesus. I think fake Jesus is more believable.
I've heard that as well, but I think Project Bluebeam is one of those things that ties into, again, how they would be able to orchestrate this. And they don't even have to have alien ships landing. These could be 3D holographic images that are projected on the ionosphere or the stratosphere or into the atmosphere, right? And so I think that there's ways that they can do it through that technology.
Yeah, but the people are not as stupid anymore, because they were thinking
we're still pretty stupid, Syd. We're pretty stupid.
General, but then there are a lot of astronomers, amateur astronomers, who can read what is real and what is not. So then it will backfire on them. I think they were thinking of the people of 1960s, where they had no clue about anything. So the plan was projecting of those people, but these people cannot be easily fooled. So I think, so if you project something on the space, there are so many scientists out there in every country. It's not just in the United States, right? In every country there is a scientist and astronomers, and then most of the countries hate each other, so they will try to find a reason to like disprove their whole hypothesis.
True, but if you see sort of the problem with getting information across from one country to another, especially when there's high tensions and the truth sort of gets killed first, I think it's very easy to sort of control and silence opposition and information.
Well, the point is, like, not many people, because they want to. This whole thing has to be for the global agenda, not for one country. So they need to make sure that everyone on the world is on paper, and they won't be on one paper because of the alien. However, Jesus Christ, fake Jesus Christ, is someone everybody respect. Like, there are Christians and Muslims, like that's the majority of the world who believe in the second coming of the Jesus. So what's gonna happen? Like, people will fall for it easily. I don't think they will fall for it, but the chances of them falling for fake Jesus are higher than the falling for the alien invasion.
I'm not sure, but you know, I think you could also sort of say that they are coming, right? That they're not actually here, or you know, you could set like one scout and say like, oh, there's an armada on its way.
Just get a cheap telescope. You can see across
what if
Earth cloud.
Yeah,
but then nobody gonna believe it, right? If they are saying that something is coming, you need to see, and then we're gonna get our telescope where we watch Earth cloud, which is so far away, and then it's really hard. Like, I know, like,
but what if you have one ship and it can cloak or discloak?
No,
and
but
it
we
says,
cannot
okay,
send
there's another group.
No, but you cannot send a ship that far away. We don't have technology for that, and we will see if something is going. It's like, I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying it's really, really, really hard to do it compared to Jesus, where they will just project Jesus like, oh, I'm back.
But on the other hand, you know, one of the things that I sort of really worry about is, you know, sort of the advancement of AI, right? So because you already see what AI can do. I mean, sort of not itself being intelligent, but, you know, just abilities that AI can sort of generate and sort of cloud our perception. right? Because it won't be very long until we have no idea what is real and what's not real. Because it will be indistinguishable from the real thing, especially if it's sort of fully integrated into society, which it will.
Yeah, but that's like we are talking about digital things like we see on the computer, but I'm talking about the actual astronomers, like amateur astronomers who have the telescope in their house. They are like at least million amateur astronomers out there around the world who are watching the skies. That's how we got the Oumuamua and all those things. Like people are like a lot of amateur astronomers, so it will be very hard to fool those guys.
Okay, but Syd, but what if it are cryptoterrestrials or under this ocean, or what we talked about at the beginning?
That is easier. That is much easier. Yeah.
Yeah, then you can look outside into space all you want with your telescope, but then
Yeah, space aliens are hard. Yeah, cryptoterrestrials is possible. That is and then you can create like high tech UFOs built on this earth, and they will attack our bigger cities, and then everybody's afraid. Yeah, this is quite possible. But yeah, coming from the space is impossible.
Okay, I had a lot of fun, and it was good to have you on the show, Matty. And you're
thank you.
Welcome to come back on.
Oh, I love going down rabbit holes like this. It's always fun.
Yeah, it's just just fun and speculation, and there's also some serious information that we share. I recommend everybody to watch the interview with Ross Coulthart. I'll link it down below, but that one will blow your mind.
Yeah,
and and all the other links are also fun, especially those of Biden.
It's going to be an interesting next 6 months, and the way to wrap up the year. I think we're definitely moving into a historic timeline. We really are on the precipice of a turning point and a watershed moment, not only for the U.S., but I think globally, and I think for humanity. And it's going to be really interesting to see what happens, because I think over the next 6 months, the narrative that unfolds and the events that happen are really going to have a long-lasting effect on future generations in the next decades to come.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I hope the dog eater wins.
The what?
The dog eater.
The dog
eater. Dog eater is not winning. Trump is coming for sure.
Dog eater.
No, Trump is. It's not like I want it, but first of all, we don't have any choice, and then Trump has the largest support. So let's just accept the fact.
Yeah, at least he's orange, so that's good.
Yeah.
But did you notice now after the debate, they brought Biden back out in that ABC interview, and they tanned him up. Now he looks orange. He's orange now. I mean, in the latest ABC interview, I'm like, dude, what happened? A little too much bronzer, Joe?
Was it orange is the new black? Was it?
Yeah, really.
Okay, guys, I had a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Let's do it again in the future. Everybody watching and sticking to the end, thank you, and we'll see you again soon.
All right.